All right, B. So the thing that I wanted to ask about where I thought you were going was usually we say that defensive backs are playing defensive back because they can't catch. So you're getting at ball skills. You're getting at how good are you
Yeah.
at catching the ball. Not when the ball's in the air, what do? Can you bat it or whatever? How good are you at getting your hands on the ball and coming down with the ball? And how does
Yeah,
that factor into what you're supposed to be doing as a defensive back?
a little, but I mean, if you bat down the ball on a CeeDee Lamb, you won, I think, because that man comes down. He's got hands of steel, vice grips basically, and he's going to come down with it. I mean, you watched even as a freshman, for an example, on DeAndre Baker, for the Georgia Bulldogs, was considered one of the best defensive backs in the country in 2017. Right?
Ooh.
He was a first round pick.
Yeah, well, yes, he was. I know that, and I know he was the only defensive back taken in the first round. I also know he won the Jim Thorpe Award, but I'm trying to be sure about this because this is one of my guys. I know that he hadn't given up a touchdown pass since 2016 in the Liberty Bowl against TCU. I know that.
Okay. So
But when
let's
you asked about like he was a 3-star kid coming out of high school who had to wait his turn. So like that's why I was him and
yeah,
it hard.
no, so I guess my point is that the Rose Bowl,
Okay.
Oklahoma's
Yeah.
struggling.
Yeah.
Mayfield throws the ball up. It's a 50-50 ball. CeeDee Lamb's a freshman, and he pulls the ball away from Baker. Is that a bad play on Baker? No. CeeDee Lamb's that good. He's got freaking vice grips for hands, and he's strong. He was even strong as a freshman. He didn't look it, but he
Again,
was.
we're measuring wide receivers against defensive backs. When I
What I'm trying to get to my point here is that he was there.
okay,
A lot
so
of a lot of DBs that aren't there or that are there, sometimes they don't even make plays on the ball.
well, I mean, you were
And a good
so
DB does.
we
That's where I
we,
get with
we
the
got
Farnham
here
Motley
from
deal.
we got here from Derek Stingley though. We got here from
Right.
Derek
And that's why
Stingley.
I think Derek Stingley's really good because he makes plays on the ball. Yeah,
Yes,
he
but
doesn't sometimes
you're
come
not
down with
prepared to
it.
say that he's the best. So like you were fighting me on that, and I wanted to know where you were
No,
going
no,
with that.
no. Well, the reason why is because he's a freshman. I just think that I want to see him against a guy like that.
No,
Like if
no
he's there
I mean,
on his
wait,
CD
wait a
Lamb,
second. Is Van Jefferson not that good?
Van Jefferson's good.
Okay, Colin Johnson, Devin Duvernay, they're not that good.
Are they? I would say Van Jefferson's closer to CD than those
Well, I
two.
mean,
But
that's the other thing. You're going to get to see it this weekend when he matches up against Judy or Ruggs or
that's what I
Devontae
said.
Smith.
I said we're going to know exactly how good he really is this
But
weekend.
my point here has been targets, right? Like when I look at the statistics on targets and I watch him play, the number of passes that guys come down with is not nearly as high as it is for the average. And even when he gets beat, and he does get beat, they all get beat. He is able to come back from it in the way that you want a quarterback to. Because like he was
Yeah,
getting beat up on against Florida, he was getting
he has
8,
dementia.
and
Yeah.
then he has that big pick in the end zone of Kyle Trask. So like that was where I was going with it. But let's talk about the OU Iowa State game here for a minute because I feel
Okay.
like we've just been
Yeah,
doing
we
this.
totally digressed there for a
Right.
second, but that's fine.
All right, so we both agree that Iowa State is a very good football team. They're five
They
and
are.
three, but they're still very good. Where do you see an advantage for Iowa State?
Mm. Mm, trying to think. Probably the outside. They always have good receivers.
So like Deshaunte Jones?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know how big of an advantage it is. I just think that Oklahoma, as a whole, I'm still clinging on that the K-State game was an outlier, and we're going to really find out exactly how big of an outlier it was this weekend. Because I think Iowa State is very similar in how they do things, and I equated it like this on the board, especially defensively. Uh, Defensively, Iowa State is their defense is very much like the K-State offense, where they are going to do things that are different. Other people try to replicate it, but they can't
Yeah, Riley
because
spoke
Iowa
to
State,
that.
huh?
Riley spoke to that. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, well, I mean, I wrote about this the other day in my little post-practice deal. I just think that they do. They did. People try to replicate it, but they can't do it because they're not as efficient. They're not as good, and that's what Iowa State does. It's their base defense. So I think and they've given Oklahoma fits sometimes, especially in 2017. Oklahoma got better with it in 2018. We're going to see how much better they got at it in 2019. So if you can do it back-to-back years, what they did down there and up there in Ames last year, and granted, they even held, I think it was 38 points. You hold Oklahoma to 38, you're doing pretty good. So I still think Iowa State did a really good job defensively. They're going to cause problems.
You said, I think every defensive coordinator.
John Heacock is a man.
He just threw up in his mouth 38 points.
Yeah, I know, but it's Oklahoma. They're averaging 49 a game. So
yeah, well, they were averaging 50.
Yeah. So, the point being is that if they can hold Oklahoma in the 30s, they're really, really, especially at home. I think that's going to make Oklahoma fans a little irritated, number one, because they expect Oklahoma to be in the 40s. I think it's going to be one of those deals where either Oklahoma's going to come out on fire or it's going to be a 1-2 touchdown game going into the fourth quarter, and it's a coin flip to see how this game ends up. So it's going to be intriguing to see how. So you expect Oklahoma fans to be a little rowdy, but I don't know. They think it's Iowa State. A lot of people still have that in their head. It's Iowa State. This Iowa State team's really good. If Oklahoma State OU fans aren't in on it, then and I know they don't play the game, but they are part of the ball game. So you either are going to make the crowd rowdy and harder for the Iowa State offense, or you're going to sit back on your hands and not do anything, and it'll look a lot like 2017, and that's not what you want, because Oklahoma had a 31-14 lead going into halftime. They goose-egged Oklahoma in the second half in 2017. And they're liable to do that again. They're that good.
No, they're not.
You don't think so?
The advantage for Iowa State offensively is Charlie Kolar, because
ironically,
because Charlie, yes, he's from Norman. Cool, fine. So was George Kittle. So are we doing that?
Yeah.
Do we need to do that tangent? Because I'm all for making people upset, but
yeah.
Do you want to do that?
No.
Okay.
Kittle was on staff too. That makes him. Anyways, go ahead.
See, I didn't do it. You did it.
Yeah.
And hey, look, aren't I supposed to be the homer? Isn't that the way that this show's billed?
Go ahead, do your thing. Do your thing.
No, I'm just saying though, it feels like I'm the dude that's going, calm down, Brandon. CeeDee's not, otherworldly, and you're like, RJ, have you been watching? And somehow I get branded as the homer. That's all I'm saying. I'm just pointing it out.
CeeDee is otherworldly though. We've watched. I think he is, but that's my opinion. He's amazing.
Like I said, that he's very, very, very good. He's very, very, very good. He ain't Calvin Johnson. And nobody needs to be. Nobody needs to be. Nobody needs to be. That's my point. Nobody needs to be. And what he did late against Kansas State, he's the only dude that could do it. Okay?
That's fair.
So that is my tip of the cap to CeeDee. Especially after the Texas game, where he didn't even, we haven't even seen his final form, but I'm pretty sure he went Super Saiyan Blue. Point, though, is Charlie Kolar is a matchup problem, and not just a matchup problem, you don't have anybody that matches up with him. I get Deshaunte Jones at wideout has the most catches, and he's going to be open, but the more you go through Oklahoma, the more you say, Buki's too small, Delarin can't be trusted to keep up, Pat is going to have to, but Pat's also the guy that you need over the top, which means that Buki's the guy. You're not going to have Kenneth Murray Jr. doing that. You're going to have him watching Breece Hall coming out of the backfield. You can't have Deshaun White doing it because he's going to have to watch Brock Purdy because you don't want to give him a completely clean pocket and clean look to take off with. You don't have anybody. This is the thing that Oklahoma usually is able to do with other people. You don't have anybody that matches up with Lee Morris or Grant Calcaterra or Jeremiah Hall. So I think that if I'm game planning the offense, I'm definitely going, Charlie, prepare to get 15 targets today. Because I'm just going to make everybody back off. And I'm going to make Grinch come up with something to counter. Because that's my beater. You know, if I want to hand the ball to Breece Hall, fine. If I want to throw the ball to Deshaunte Jones, fine. And this is the part where I also say, yes, he's had more attempts, but Brock Purdy's also thrown for more yards than Jalen Hurts. So he should have more yards with more attempts. Point is, they're going to throw the ball. And Oklahoma is a liability through the middle of the field when you throw the ball. And that's assuming Trey Brown and Jaden Davis and Parnell Motley all show up to work. Because Parnell got himself tossed with his Mortal Kombat move on the sideline. Jaden Davis actually played like a freshman. And Trey Brown got worked on 3rd and long. So, like, if I'm Iowa State, yes, I'm throwing the ball. And I think I can cook the secondary. That is where I want to see whether or not Grinch and Manny have something, because they're the first guys we want to look to and say, hey, they're figuring it out. But isn't Grinch the safeties coach?
Does that okay? Do they max protect like K-State did?
They did. So you'll remember they did that with Zeb Nolan at quarterback last year.
Yeah,
and what happened?
He
threw for 360, and Hakeem Butler turned it into his draft me in the second round highlight room.
Yeah.
You know,
as long as they have time, I could see that being a big issue.
But they're gonna have time because you're gonna rush 4. You're not rushing 5, and the 5th that you bring, they're gonna be able to pick up. Right? It's either Murray, White, or Fields. How often is it Yell?
Not very often.
Yeah, and how often is it a corner?
Not very often.
I don't think it's been a corner at all this year. I don't think there's a corner blitz in this playbook.
I think I do remember seeing. Was it Jaden Davis blitz? Maybe
no. I think he had the flat.
And then it was Motley.
Because you remember, like we were talking about this last week when we were saying, what did Jaden Davis see that made him hesitate and get him lost in no man's land? And you're like,
did you go back and watch it?
Yeah, he's playing cover 2, but I'm saying that he's supposed to be backing off, and something's coming his way. He comes down, and I think what you're referring to as a blitz is him just coming down because he saw it.
No. I don't think they blitzed. I don't remember seeing one against K-State, but I feel like I've seen one this year.
No, I'm saying okay. I'm saying I don't think you saw one.
I don't think I've seen more than one, but I think I've seen one this year.
And I'm saying I think that was a cover 2 call that Jaden.
So he just decided to do it. He went rogue.
Not necessarily going rogue, but like if you know that they're throwing the ball out to the flat or wherever, and you see their quarterback that is coming your way. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I get your saying.
So I'm not saying that I don't want to say that the kid went off the script. I do want to say that his instincts were correct. I just don't think that he had to call a corner blitz, because when you got to call a corner blitz, you see the safety rolling over the top to take away that guy. And usually, right, you got a flaring out linebacker.
Yeah.
You know, you want to give that guy cover. But the thing that we kept saying, and the thing that Grinch kept saying, is it's simple. Well, because it's simple, there ain't going to be a whole hell of a lot of calls. You know what I mean? You're gonna be in what you're gonna be in.
Make it even more simple now, so that would be really interesting.
Good God, I don't know about that, man. I get that K-State plays a different brand of football, or so people want to tell me. I just think they're well coached, and their different brand of football is they have a wrinkle. Like they just have a wrinkle. I think Matt Campbell is a good football coach. And wouldn't you think that if anybody knew anything about Alex Grinch and his defensive system, it'd be Matt Campbell?
And I think vice versa, and I think that's what's going to be this is going to be fun to watch. I was thinking about that the other day, because they've grown up around each other. Right. They played together. I mean, they know each other. So and
they both played defense. That was the other thing. Like
they're going to understand each other better than anybody.
You would think so, but this is the reason why I selfishly wanted Jason Candle to end up in this conference, but I wouldn't be mad if he ended up at Florida State. Matter of fact, let's talk about that for a second, because coaching searches are fun, and I pissed off the board by saying I want Alex Grinch to succeed. Whatever. I stand by that.
Yeah, they just don't want to see him gone.
No, I was about to say I stand by that, because what happens with good coordinators? What do you want for them?
They leave.
But I'm saying, like, Venables, right, is basically our version of Kirby Smart, because it felt like Kirby was just going to be Saban's defensive coordinator forever, and he's really just waiting on Mark Richt to get fired. You know, and we thought that perhaps Brent Venables might have been waiting on Bill Snyder to leave, and that ain't what it is. But I guess the reason we're bringing it up,
that one, but we won't get into that.
The reason I wanted to bring it up is because Bob's name was bandied about, and all of us that cover the sport for a living here, we're all going, absolutely not. And we have our various stories for saying why it was absolutely not. So I want to unpack that after the break. Give me a second.